Hey everyone, remember me? Fabulous B. Well, today we take the show back to the beginning when I first started. One of my first guests was none other than our very same guest today, Eddie from the Noctambulant. What's happening, brother?
Hey man, good to be back. Thanks for having us. Well, me.
Yeah. So what's, aside from new music, which we'll get into shortly, what's new with you guys?
Well, the last time we spoke during COVID, we had just come out with Hellraiser,
Yeah.
which was an EP. We released that.
Yep.
Um, it did really well. It got picked up by a European label and reissued, and then continued to do well. And then off of that, we did a European tour again with supporting Vader and Hate, the two Polish death metal bands. So I had
Nice.
a really, yeah, really successful tour there. And then I broke my hand.
Oh no.
So yeah, I broke my hand, and then I kind of changed careers and went from doing the gig work, bartender, stagehand, whatever, to just being a full time audio engineer with a broken hand. So
Nice.
things kind of slowed down musically for a little while. We were still writing and whatnot, but obviously you can't play guitar
Right.
with a broken hand, and it was hard for me to get consistent time away from work because the I didn't realize this at the time, but the life of a touring audio engineer is pretty much you're just gone forever.
Wow.
So, um, I gave my job about a year and a half of just solid time to heal my hand and kind of make a nice little financial cushion. And then we really started hitting recording hard. We finished the album. Uh, the first, the next two singles that we will be releasing, we actually had written in 22, and we wrote them before we
Wow.
went to Europe. So we actually performed them in Europe. So if you saw us in Europe,
Right.
you will hear the next two singles. You'll know them because we played them.
Nice.
And it was really those two singles, which we'll get to, that really kind of showed that the direction we were going was the good idea, and that was the right direction, because there was a noticeable, like, palpable response from the crowd when we would play the two new songs, and we were like, oh well, obviously we're on something.
Nice. Okay. So that was so you had Hellraiser and
Hmm.
now I see on Spotify you have The Second Death. So is that
Right.
the name of the new album or is that just the
No,
single? Okay.
that's the single. The album could be called Revival.
Okay.
Again, leaning into that Southern Gothic, kind of Pentecostal, Southern Southern Baptist thing. There's a Baptist megachurch about a mile that way.
Right on.
When they have their big celebrations, I can see the fireworks from my porch. Um,
Nice.
so I definitely grew up in that sphere. Yeah, so it's called Revival,
Okay.
and right now we're shopping labels. The goal is because we're releasing singles to get traction, get attention. Because we understand we haven't really been very active the last few years. Between me breaking my hand and whatnot, kind of
Right.
went on a little bit of a break. So we understand. So we're trying to get out there, release these singles, build some traction, get some attention, and then hopefully once we can get that, we can have a date to release the album.
Okay. So how many songs are you guys, if you don't mind me asking, how many are you guys are going to put on the revival?
I think nine.
9 total?
I think
Okay.
it's nine. 10, I believe, if you count the intro.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's it in like how I like to do songwriting. It kind of ebbs and flows. It gets intense, and then they have the interlude that kind of brings it down, and then hits you in the face again, and it keeps going.
That's to be expected with melodic death metal. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, melodic death metal, black metal. I grew up listening to the melodic black metal bands and symphonic black metal bands, where you always had the intro track. Halfway
yep,
through, you had the interlude.
yep.
You know,
Oh
would
yeah,
be it Demon Borgir, Cradle of Filth, Emperor, all those bands. There was
oh yeah.
always that. So
you got bands like Opeth, which I mean is just basically a science fiction novel, audio, version.
yeah.
So the last time that we talked, you guys were celebrating 7 years together. That
No.
was 5 years ago.
Yeah. Crazy.
So, I mean, has anything changed as far as the lineup goes? Are you guys still a cohesive unit? I
Yeah.
mean, what's going on?
Well, the three core members from before, because I believe last time we spoke, we didn't have a lead guitar player.
I don't think you did. I think you
I
guys
think it
were
was
in
just
the
three of us.
process. Yeah.
Yeah. And shortly after that, we spoke. We ended up recruiting who we call Rev Beaumont,
Okay.
named Taylor, and he is great. He
Nice.
really kind of he was like the missing piece. His songwriting style and his understanding of stage presence is really complimentary to me.
That's good.
Yeah. So he gets what we're doing and he leans into it. And when he writes a solo, it does, because I did all the lead work on Hellraiser except for the guest spot. And if you listen to the new album, the solos, it just sounds like what I would write, but better. Because he's a much better guitar player than I am. So it's great. His songwriting is fantastic. He actually contributed. He helped me write the second death when we got back from this last tour with Vader. We sat down on the front porch and we wrote that main riff together. So we work very well together. And of course, Lars is still there on bass, and
Okay.
Darren is still there on drums. So the core group has been kind of there throughout most of it.
Right on. So, I scroll through TikTok like a lot of us do, and I saw that you guys have I guess an AI generated video for, I guess, is this the one that's going to be for the new song, or is this, I mean, are you guys going to, I guess, use AI or utilize AI for your videos, or are you going to? Oh, go ahead.
Well, so I mean that's a multifaceted question. That's like a real
Right.
hot topic at the moment. So, yes, Brian, the videographer who did this video for us, he lives out west. He's done work for some other bands that I respect a lot, and so I contacted him, and I'm like, "Look, man, this is my budget. This is my time frame." And he's like, "Cool. What we can do is, because I couldn't afford to fly him out, I couldn't afford to fly us there. So he was like, well, I can do this. They can use some stills and some stock videos. And also he can use AI as a tool instead of a crutch.
Right.
And so a lot of which is very cool, a lot of the video images, the moving images are stills that I gave him. Like one of my favorites, there's a shot of these like ghostly figures in front of a church. Like
Yes.
that's a church an hour down the road that I
Nice.
took a picture of, and then I photoshopped that, and he put that into whatever AI program he uses, and it animated it. And so
Nice.
so the video is actually the mix of AI animated images and stock video. So
Okay.
it's and admittedly, I did have some feelings whenever because I love the video. But
Right.
when I saw it, I was like, man, this is. I wasn't sure about the heavy use, and then I looked through it. I was like, all right, this is an image that, because I gave him a folder full of assets,
Right.
and he went through. He would take images, animate them. I'm like, well, that's pretty rad. And then I've only had one person really kind of try and get me with it, and my response was, look, dude, if I had the thousands of dollars to go out in the swamp, have a videographer, get a bunch of people, burn down a church, and like do weird swamp revival shit,
Right.
100%.
Oh,
But I
absolutely.
don't.
And and for all intents and purposes, AI can be a useful tool. You
Right.
know, I mean, especially if, like you said, we have budgetary restrictions and stuff
Hmm.
like that. I mean, it can be useful, especially if you're trying to tell a story, on, like you said, a, a a budget,
Hmm.
So,
And that's kind of my mantra with AI. It's a great tool. It's not a crutch.
yep,
And I feel, I feel that if you use it the way it's intended, it can be a nice way to accentuate your project.
oh,
Um,
absolutely,
but I feel when you rely on it for your art, then it's disingenuous.
yeah,
And but to answer your question, I had a little left turn there. No, the next video is going to be a lyric video
okay,
um, for "Bring the Sorrow," and then the main single for the album, "Skeleton Key," that's going to be a performance video.
okay,
So,
cool.
and that's going to be yeah. So, just the one this visualizer video, I just wanted to kind of get out there and get something that was eye catching
Right.
and and cause a discussion, which it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whenever I saw it on TikTok, I was like, "Oh crap!" That's a cool song. And then I watched it two or three more times, and then I'm like, the video actually kind of makes sense with the music, and I'm like, this is actually really cool. My older son and I, we were both, he just graduated from Full Sail as a videographer, so and he is dead set against AI. So, and I showed it to him, and he was like, "Oh, that was AI," and I was like, "Yeah, that was definitely, you can tell there was a couple scenes in there," and he was like,
Yeah,
"Oh," he's like, "That was pretty cool." So, I mean,
yeah,
I don't hate it.
that's good. But yeah,
I mean, I myself, I've had to use AI a couple times. I tried to use AI for a new logo for Florida Metal Radio. It just didn't go out the way that I wanted it to.
hmm
So I wound up having to, like, as a matter of fact, 2 years as I've been shut down. So took a step back away from social media. I just got back into Facebook not even a month ago. Shut everything down on Facebook, and the only thing I had was TikTok.
yeah,
But so so we got the new album coming out.
yes.
Obviously, it's going to be on. I saw the new single was on Spotify.
Hmm.
Now, are you going to be on all streaming services on all platforms?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the new single as well should be on all platforms by now. We released it officially, I guess yesterday.
Okay.
So it can take upwards of 24 hours to get everything there. But by this point, it should be everywhere: Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
There's a list of places that it's at. Now, some of them I've never even heard of, but hey, it's there.
In 5 years, dude, whenever I was first starting out, I had Apple Music, I had Amazon, Spotify, there was Google Play or something like that was out at the time. I mean, a lot of the stuff that 5 years ago was here, and now we've got so much more. I mean,
Yeah.
and like you said, there's stuff out there that I still haven't heard of, and I'm like, great. Now I have to push everything out to everywhere else.
Mhm. Yeah. But whenever we go through the website that distributes our music, they're like, "Do you want to send it to these sites?" I'm like, "Click yes." I don't know where it's going, but hey, if that's another 10 streams a year, great. That's 0.06 cents in our bank account.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We've almost got some money for bubblegum.
Dude, I just checked. I checked our balance the other day. We've got, I don't know, 250,000 streams, something like that. I have enough that I could take the band out to a nice steak dinner once,
Nice.
just once.
I was going through all of my videos for Florida Metal Radio over the year, and it's like I still haven't reached the creator fund. So I mean, it's like I'm not getting any kind of revenue for
Yeah.
any of my videos. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not playing the algorithm correctly. I don't know. I don't care. I
Yeah.
just,
And that's the thing, man. Like, I don't want to be a content creator. I don't want to do social media. I just want to play guitar and write
yeah,
songs and play. And it's so, I mean, maybe it's because I'm old, but I'm
yeah,
so frustrated when I'm like, ah,
yep.
and yeah, not to get off my old guy soapbox, but like I will, as an audio engineer, I'll see these bands that have never played a show, but they've blown up on social media. And
Yeah,
then they get up there on stage and they suck.
yeah.
Like, they have all these problems because they've never done it. And I'm like, great. But you get
Oh, absolutely.
four dudes in their 30s and 40s that just want to play guitar. And I'm like, well, I mean, some of my guys are in their 50s, but we don't talk about that. But you get some of the, we're just like, we don't want to make funny videos on TikTok, and
Right.
we just want to play music. But whatever, you do what you got to
Exactly. I mean, hell, dude, I just turned 50 this year, and I'm
do.
like, where the hell did the time go?
Yeah.
You know, I wake up out of bed, and I'm like, nope, nope. My bones are not where you wanting to do this today. No more people. I'm going back to bed.
Dude. Yeah, I have a torn rotator cuff, and
Oh,
luckily it doesn't affect my playing. But it's just like some days it's just my left arm just doesn't want to work. I'm like, great, sure, why not?
yeah, yeah. Well, dude, I love doing this Florida Metal Radio thing only because I get to talk to my friends. I get
Hmm.
to talk about music. And, I kind of lost vision and lost fact of that. Like I said, the last 2 years, I had to, regroup, redo the studio, and just bring it back. And like I said, scrolling through TikTok, I saw that you guys had some new stuff out, and I'm like, you know what? I had fun talking to you guys last time. It was fun. We had
Yeah.
a. I went back and I watched our, initial video, and I'm like, I can't believe it was 2020 since we've talked. And I'm like, holy shit, where did the time go? But, um, dude, just keep doing what you're doing, man. You guys are freaking killing it. I love you guys. I can't wait until, the new music drops, the new, my kids even like you guys. I mean,
Oh, that's
yeah,
good.
dude, my 14-year-old has been with me this entire time. Just
Hmm.
he's been a metalhead. He's got long hair just like dad. Wears the heavy metal t-shirts to school. I mean, he's just, and I bring him new music all the time. And I played you guys, the most recent single here, and he was like, cool. So he added that to his playlist on Spotify.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you guys will always have a fan in this household.
And I apologize if it gets noisy. It is currently storming.
I can see
Um,
that.
yeah. So
now you guys are out of Jacksonville, right?
yeah, broadly speaking, North Florida.
North Florida. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in Jacksonville. The car players in Jacksonville. The other guys are in Middleburg and
Okay.
that area. So
Right on.
yeah.
Now, do you guys stay active in the scene up in Jacksonville? I mean, like playing local shows and stuff, or
We don't really play local shows. We haven't played a Jacksonville show in a long time, to be honest. We when we do play, we go down to Orlando, Tampa, Orlando.
okay,
We played Tampa. Gosh, it's been probably 6 months now. But it's just with my work, I don't really get a whole lot of time to support local shows. I know my bass drummer Darren and Larry, they support. Lars goes to a lot of shows, and Darren plays in um, various bands. He
yeah,
mainly does like blues and whatnot, but they're out there playing. And you know Taylor, our guitar player, he up until recently was at Guitar Center, so he was really, and he interacted a lot with the local musicians.
okay,
There's not a real big like black metal scene here.
okay,
It's There never really has been. This has always been more of like a punk, classic rock, rap, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so hey, if I want to go and uh, drink beer with a bunch of 20-year-olds under a bridge and play punk music, man, we'd be killing it.
Right.
But uh, the black metal thing isn't. It's not really. It's not
That's
really a big thing here.
That's I mean I've noticed there's a lot of black metal and just hard metal that's in Tampa,
Yeah,
and definitely Orlando. I see a little bit of metal punk down in Miami and stuff like that, but
yeah,
not a whole lot of like dark metal like like you said, Orlando and Tampa.
yeah. There's not a whole lot in Miami. Tampa, of course, is like one of the homes of metal in the U.S.
Right.
So there's a lot of good bands there. There's some good bands in Gainesville as well. But again, but there's not a lot of not a lot of markets. And the issue Jacksonville has, especially, is just there's the turnover of venues. Besides Jackrabbits, which is the old venerable Jackrabbits, this has been open for I don't know 30 years or something.
Right.
Uh, Everything's just turning over and changing constantly. So it's just
And I've noticed that too with there's a lot of the bands that are coming and going as well.
yeah,
I've seen bands that were hot 5 years ago whenever we first talked are no longer around.
yeah.
There's a couple bands that have been around forever that I just called it quits. So uh,
And it gets hard, man. Like there's
it
a
does.
period, just like real talk. There's a period where either you're gonna get there's like this magic threshold, this divide, um, and either you're gonna get to the other side of that divide and you're gonna take off or at least play bigger shows, or you're not, and
Right.
you're just gonna do more regional stuff, which at there's not a right answer, right?
Right.
That that and some people could disparage on that, but I'm like, look, playing regional shows is great.
Yeah.
Having your friends and going and playing on the weekends is great.
Yep.
And especially the older I get and more I have like an actual career, it's hard. Like if we were to go, hopefully when we go back to Europe, because we have a great fan base in Scandinavia and Poland. It's on one hand, it's gonna be easier to pay for it, but it's gonna be harder to get the time.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is, bringing me to my point that, 12 years, man. I commend you guys for getting past that threshold, and being able to stick together as a band, still, branching out and doing your own things, but still having the wherewithal to be able to come back together and put something, like the Second Death, out, just kind of like, to me, it was out of nowhere, but
oh yeah,
because like I said, I've been out of it for so long, but still, you guys have been able to hold on to that, and that in itself is a feat. So, like, I commend you
like
guys, 100% on being able to be one of the mainstays of the scene.
yeah, it's been challenging. There have been, especially so when I had my hand was broken, and Darren, he had some health issues, and there's man, it was daunting, but we had these songs written and recorded, or we were recording them, and I'm like, we need to get them out because, like I said, I don't. This is what I do. I feel like this is what I'm good at. Like if I'm not playing music, then what am I doing?
Right. Are you truly happy if you're not
Yeah,
making music?
right.
Yep. I'm the same way with artwork, and just the same as the Florida Metal Radio stuff. I walked away from everything that made me happy, and it was the worst 2 years of of not having any of those
Yeah.
outlets.
Well, it's like the year and a half, that almost 2 years, because I've
Yeah.
been with this job. I've been in this job 2.5 years now, almost three, and like that period of time when I had a broken hand and I was just really focusing on work, because as from in my job as an audio engineer, like there's no half-assing it. Like
Right.
if you suck at your job, everyone's gonna know
Yeah.
because shit's gonna go wrong, and like you can't fake it. So
No. You
I tried
can't.
really hard to focus on it, and it made me. It's better now for the band because now I know. Like coming into my job, I had a different perspective than all the other people I worked with because they've been all audio engineers from Full Sail or church or wherever. So they had different
Right.
backgrounds. You know, I was coming in and be like, oh, how did you start running sound? Like, oh, I was on tour and the sound guy overdosed. And I was like, well, fuck, it's not that hard. I bet I can do it. So yeah. So I always get weird looks with all the church people who are like, what? Oh, I'm like, yeah, you know, people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there are people that do drugs and make poor choices,
Yeah.
and
And some
yeah,
people have to step up in those roles.
right. So it was interesting, you know, coming into my job with a musician background, because you know, I kind of have that perspective, but also I can tell now as a monitor engineer, whenever the singer's like, oh, I need this in my ear. No, the fuck you don't. Shut up. Sing. You don't need any of that. You want that, but you don't need it.
Exactly.
But also the job has helped me because now I understand the signal better and the gear and all of how everything works together. So, you know, now everything just makes more sense, and I feel like it makes us a better band because now, you know, our backing tracks and our click tracks are more streamlined because, you know, Darren, we kind of work with that. You know, I don't think we're going to go the route of in-ears because
Yeah.
I don't really need it. But our drummer, you know, Darren, he uses in-ears because he has the click in the track. So great, we stream like that. You know, we've got our wireless setups that are quality, you know, because you show up with your Amazon special wireless to a festival, it's just not going to work.
No.
No. So, so, you know, it's from the tech perspective, having this job has really helped kind of make us more professional.
Gotcha. No, that definitely makes sense, man. I mean, having the right gear means the world, you know, and knowing how to operate it. I mean, so many times whenever I first started with Florida Metal Radio, I was having audio issues, I was having video issues, I was having all kinds of issues. But it wasn't until my son, well, actually, both my 23-year-old and my 14-year-old, taking, you know, video production, movie production, and all that kind of stuff, for them to be able to teach me how to do things properly. And, you know, now people can hear me. I've got a decent
Yeah.
video setup, you know, and it's just, you know, it took a lot of learning for myself, you know. So I completely and totally understand what you're saying there, man.
I mean, what are you using? OSB, your software?
Actually, I was going to use Streamlabs, and I do have OBS.
OBS, that's it.
Yeah, but I don't use any of those anymore. I actually have DaVinci Resolve now, so
See?
I'm actually going to cut this video up and you know, splice everything together and make sure it's all a cohesive thing instead of just dumping something out there just to dump it out there. So
and dude, you're right. It's like, you know, having the experience and the knowledge. Like I had some friends that have a podcast and for Warhammer, and they were like, "Hey, can you help us do the sound and stuff for OBS and this and that?" I'm like, whoa. It's like I can try, but
right.
You know, live sound versus studio sound versus like podcast. That's, I don't know. That's a whole thing. And I was like, look, I can help you the best I can, but you need someone that does that, and I'm not that guy.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is, you know, this DaVinci Resolve is I can go ahead and add bass to the voice. I can go ahead and take out a lot of the echo. I can, you know, make it a little bit more spatial, you know, and just, you know, I can clean up colors and contrasts and all that kind of good stuff, you know, and it's just instead of go ahead.
I feel like everyone watching this right now that isn't technical, they're like, oh fuck, what
are they talking about?
I feel like we just lost everybody.
Okay,
Like,
well, I won't bore everybody else with the extra
like
details.
excuse my nerdiness for a second. I realized, like, oh man, that was me. I totally derailed this whole thing.
Hey man, I'm good with it. I mean, talking shop is always fun,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, dude.
Well,
My
once
bad.
again, thank you for being on the show again, dude. I
Of
mean,
course.
I always have a great time talking with you, and I don't think I'm gonna make it another 5 years before we talk again. I'll probably talk to you, a little bit sooner than that. But
Well, yeah. If nothing else, once the album comes out,
oh, absolutely, yeah, we'll
definitely, yeah.
definitely have to talk about that. Now, before I let you go, the
Sure.
that AI video that's on
Hmm.
TikTok. Do you
Hmm.
mind if I use some of the clips, from that for the intro to this particular episode? So I just
No, go for it.
okay,
It's on YouTube. I mean,
yeah,
I can just send you. I can send you the video too.
okay. Well, I mean,
We have the technology.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I also have the technology to, because I downloaded it from TikTok, but it's got
Hmm.
your TikTok logo on
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
which I'm completely and totally cool with, promoting your TikTok as well, because I mean, growing
Well,
followers
thank
on
you.
there, you still get the creator fund on that one as well.
Yeah. But yeah, you can use it all you like. You can
Okay,
use the song. You can use the video. Sure, whatever.
cool, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead, like whenever I cut everything up, I'm gonna go ahead and use that as the intro. Then we'll go ahead and I'll cut everything up and make it
Yeah.
all a cohesive thing.
Awesome.
All right, brother. Don't break any more hands, bro.
I'm doing my best.
All right, man. I'll catch you later and have a
All
good
right.
one.
Thank you so much.
I did.
All
Bye.
right.
If you like the stuff that we do here, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.